Dave, hit me with some names that might be able to be purchased by the retail investor, and in some cases, they like those stocks below $100.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. So retail investors actually were the largest source of demand for U.S. equities last year. They're actually forecasted to be the largest source of demand again in 2026, according to J.P. Morgan analysis. And to your point, if we actually take a step back and see, well, what was retail buying? Of course, they were buying broad-based ETFs, the record numbers that you mentioned a moment ago. But we're actually seeing the retail investor expand from the tried and true names like the Magnificent Seven stocks, your NVIDIAs and your Teslas and your Alphabet, but now into other areas, right? So there are some kind of what I'll call frontier themes that were of huge interest to retail investors last year. Things like memory. They were early on a company like SanDisk, also quantum computing, nuclear. So I think retail investors are looking for two things. One, sort of the safety or potential safety that companies with huge moats can continue to grow and grow their revenue and earnings consistently with high margins, but also for new ideas that have the potential for outsized performance, which is one of the reasons why I think the retail investor base can no longer be thought of as just someone who's going to be pushing around stock like GME or AMC, or just kind of plowing into broad-based indices. They actually have sort of influence across a diverse range of names and sectors.
Dave, I'm glad you brought up influence because I agree with you. At 5 a.m. this morning, I put a very long post on my LinkedIn account shouting out retail investors. And when I talk to CFOs, head of investor relations, comms pros, all that group, they continue to really discount the influence of retail investors. At one point, do these folks at public companies wake up?
Yeah, I think it's silly to sort of discount the influence of retail investors. We know historically, right? There was a book written about it, a movie called Dumb Money, because for years, everyone said retail was the dumb money. Well, guess what? In 2025, they proved that really wrong. They were some of the first to buy the dip in the March-April period. That really helped. When institutions got significantly scared, pullbacks from stocks, retail stepped in to buy, leading to sort of outsized performance in 2025. And I think some companies are now sort of waking up to the component that they should care about their retail shareholder base. A company, of course, like Robinhood is at the forefront of that, almost kind of shifting things around to be retail first. That's going to continue to take some time, though, because the entire industry, investor relations departments, to your point, we're really set up for traditional actively managed mutual fund managers. So professional investors, not the retail investor, but we know that the retail investor is continuing to put money into stocks, and they're probably going to end up, if they have a choice, choosing a company not just that they know and believe in from a sort of a valuation or earnings growth standpoint, but a company that kind of stands with them and is positioned for how they think about doing business.
That's a good point, Dave. How should one, somewhat early in their investing journey, how should one begin the process of finding 5 amazing ideas to invest in?
Yeah, well, I think, many people say it well, right? Whether it's Buffett or others kind of say, the best thing to do, of course, is, take your initial investments, put it into sort of a broad-based index. And that makes a ton of sense because if you're looking for sort of retirement money or things of that nature, you may not have the aptitude or interest to be able to pick individual stocks. But at the same time, we know that the retail investor has matured and people actually want to, again, own individual securities that they believe in and actually believe that they have the potential for outperformance. So I think retail investors, like anyone, needs to do their homework, understand, are we investing just thematically for something that can have the potential for those outsized performance over a long time period, or are you going to be more tactical? And to me, it really comes down to what kind of, not just interest you have in the market, but the ability to kind of put the time and effort in. And if someone does, and because of the information flow that now we have access to on our smartphones, frictionless trading with really the idea of commissions kind of going to zero, I think that actually empowers retail investors to do their homework and to beat Wall Street if they're so interested in doing so.
Dave, lastly, is there one under the radar ETF that these retail investors can gravitate towards this year? And then if you have a name in mind, what companies are in that ETF?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So we relaunched actually the Roundhill Meme Stock ETF, ticker MEME, for investors and retail investors to be able to say, hey, is this actually, as opposed to picking the one stock that they think has the potential to outperform, let's get a basket of stocks that are really owned and influenced by retail investors. But the name that actually I think is interesting is the ticker OZEM, OZEM. So this is a company, this is an ETF from Roundhill that actually offers exposure to weight loss stocks, so GLP-1 stocks in particular, and sort of the adjacent names there. That's actually had quiet, significant outperformance in the last year, in not just in the AI trade. So I think it's interesting. Retail actually now has the ability to sort of expand away just from AI and take about breadth in another area like healthcare, which in many ways was a value sector, but actually now has the revenue and earnings growth to have the ability for potential significant longer term outperformance because of the setup.
One of my mentors, Dave, hated cutesy stock symbols. I don't, so I like OZEM, all right? I am not in that camp. I think that's pretty cool. Dave Mazza, Happy New Year. Good to see you. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Happy New Year.